Hi, so a friend asked me to design a wedding invitation video for her upcoming wedding to showcase on social media to her friends. And by so doing, I created a template for HD and status version. Welcome to Dupi Animations. My name is Leonard. So in this tutorial, I'm going to take you through how the template was made. And if you happen to have interest in any of the templates, please kindly request it here on YouTube and it will be posted onto the Telegram channel for you to download. Alright? And please kindly like, subscribe and comment. Alright, so let's start. So let's open After Effects. Alright? Let me create a new composition, HD 1920 by 1080. Let me name it main. Okay. Alright. Now let me bring some pictures or materials in. Okay. So I have these materials here that I got or downloaded from Pinterest. Alright. Okay. So first, let me work on the flowers. Alright. So I have this flower here. Let me click and drag it into the comb icon here to create the flower comb. Alright. Okay. So we have the flower comb here. Okay. So what we do next is go for the anchor point tool here. Click on it. Then click and drag the anchor point to the bottom of the flower here. Alright. Now go for the selection tool. So, okay, so the timeline is too long, so let me shorten it. Let me go to the composition settings. It says here 3 minutes 59 seconds, so let me make it something like 15 seconds is okay. 15 seconds is okay. Alright. Okay, so now that we have our anchor points at the bottom of the flower, we are just going to use scale to animate this. Alright, so hit S on scale. Then bring the timeline to something like 2 seconds. Then set an ending key. Then bring the timeline backwards again. Then set the scale to something like 0. Okay, so you have something like this. You see? Alright. Now select the two keys, then easy ease them. Right click on the key, then easy ease them. From here, go to the graph editor, then drag one side in. By so doing, the flower will pop up fast, then gradually settles. Okay, so you have something like this. See that? You can drag it backwards to something like 4 seconds. So let's see. Okay, so this is for the first flower. So now let's go for the second flower too. Let me see which one. This one. Let me click and drag it to the icon to create its own icon. Like how we did to the first one, you go for the anchor point tool, then click the anchor point and drag it to the bottom of the flower. Alright? Let me go for the selection tool. Now hit S on scale. Then on 4 seconds, place the timeline there and set an ending key. Then move the timeline backwards again. Then set the scale to 0. Okay. Then select the two keys. Then right click on them. Then easy ease it. From here, go to the graph editor. Then pull one side in. Select one side. Then pull it in. So you have something like this. Okay. So this is it for the second flower. Alright. So, okay, now the third flower, let me try to use this one. So let me bring this one in. Like always. 4 seconds. Then set an ending key, which is the scale. Then move the timeline backwards. Then go 0. Okay. Select the two keys, then easy ease them. Then go to the graph editor. Select one side, then pull it in. Okay, so that's it. So now let's start the arrangement. First, let's create another composition again. Let's make it HD. Some let me see, 1920 by 1080. So let me name this com phase 1. Phase 1. Okay. All right. So within our phase 1 com, what we are going to do is, let me bring the main here. Okay. So within our phase 1 com, what we are going to do is, we are going to click and drag one of the images. I think frame. Let me see whether I brought it in. Okay, this frame. Click and drag it in. All right. Now hit R for rotation. Then rotate it a bit, something like 45 degrees. Okay. Then you scale it up. Now let me pull it to this side. Okay. Let me go something like 10. The rotation 10 more. So this is okay. All right. So what we are going to do next is to bring an image. So let me bring one of the images in. Let me lay it under the frame. Then bring it in. Then rotate it 10. See that? Okay. Now let me scale it a bit. So this is okay. Now, what I need now is I need some kind of highlights on the image. Okay. So what I did was I created another composition. Then name this one highlights. Okay. Then the height, let me just leave the height at 1080. Then the width, let me go something like 400 or so. Or let me just make it 600. Let me just make it 400. 400. Okay, so I have this. So I have the highlights come here, then right click in, new, solid, white. Okay. Then go in, I went in for the shape layer, rectangular shape layer. Then right click in the middle here. Then click and drag to create a rectangular or linear bar within the solid. Okay. Now from here I change the marks from add to subtract. Okay. Then hit on double M or triple. Then you feather the edge. You see this? Think. Let me drag the top up a bit more and the bottom to up a bit more. So then you come to the max expansion, then drag one side in so that it will touch the edge there. Then you feather more. You go more, you soften it. Let me see. So I think this is okay. All right. So after you have done creating your highlights, come to your phase 1. Okay. Now click and drag highlights onto the image. All right. Now hit R for rotation. Then let's go something like 10 for rotation. All right. Then pull the top up. Then move the highlights and position it onto the image. So you see this. Now stretch it. Let's stretch it so it will fit it. Let's stretch it. Okay. So from here, all that you have to do, you can just add straightforward. You can just add. Then you create that highlights at the edge there. You see? I think it's not showing that well. So let's come to the highlights. Then hit triple M. Then the max expansion, let's bring it down a bit. Now let me check the phase 1. Okay. Now it is brighter. Okay. All right. Now let's bring the flowers. Okay. So first of all, let's create a null object. So right click in new null object and name it control. Control. Okay. So what you are going to do is you are going to link the materials or items in the scene to the control. Okay. So wherever the control goes, they follow. All right. Now let's make all of them 3D. Okay, let's make all of them 3D. So now let's do a simple incoming animation. So maybe something like, let me make it 5 seconds. It will land here. So on control, hit P for position, then set an ending key, then bring the timeline backwards, then move the control to the right side. Okay. Then select the two keys, then easy ease them. Then after that, go to the graph editor, select one side, then pull it in. Okay. Now let's see. See that? It's slow. So let me come to something like 4 seconds and see. Okay. So this will do. All right. Now the beginning, let me see. Let me bring it forward a bit more. Let's see. All right. So now we can bring the flowers. Okay. Now let's bring the flowers, which is where is that flower? M and N, M, then N. This is M. Okay. So we have this and this. Now make all of them 3D. Select the two, then link them to the control. All right. Now let me bring them under. Okay. Now let me hide them first. Then bring the first one, which is this one. Let me scale it down. Then give it a rotation of something like on Z rotation 10. Now let me position it well. So let me bring it down here. Let me scale it down a bit more. So easy. So you have something like this. You see, it's not that difficult. Okay. Now the second one is this one. Okay. Let me bring it here. Let me give it a rotation, Z rotation 10. Let me bring it down. Okay. Let me scale it up a bit more. So this one will be here. Then let me duplicate it. Then the one under, let me scale it down. Let me scale it down. Then bring it up. So let me scale the one under to up and bring it down more. All right. So the one up, let me duplicate it, then scale it down again, then bring it up. So you have something like this. At this point, you can just arrange it the way you want. Okay, it doesn't matter. Just arrange it to your own satisfaction. You see this? Okay. So from here, I think basically we're almost done with this one. Okay. So from here, what I did was, let me bring in the test. Okay. So I just did a simple test. Let me type something like Eric and Mary. Okay, so I have this. After Effects already have an inbuilt test animations. At this point, one of those will work. So what I did was I went to animations, browse presets, then select test, then 3D test. Okay, then maybe I use this one. Okay, double click to select it. All right, now let me close it. So I have it here. Is it that? Okay, so let me change the font to maybe something more fun. Let me use this one. No. Let me see what kind of fonts will be more fun. Okay, this one will do. So let me scale it up. And let me bring this one down. So let me use this as an example and position it somewhere here. Okay. Okay. So you see that when the text is coming in, although it's low, it's a bit sharp. But the one I did there, let me bring it up a bit more. What I did was I came into the content text. So under text animator 1, okay, click on add. I'm going to add more. So property, under property, I selected what blurriness. Okay. So the blurriness is 5. So I just increase it. So let's see. Okay. So this one would do. See that? All right. So let's give it a color of something like, let me see, red, a darker red. Then come to effects, then type light sweep, CC, light sweep. Double click to apply it. Then position it in the middle here. Then come to the width, then expand it. So something like this is okay. All right. Okay. Now, just try to play around with this. So maybe the test, I decided to introduce, let's see, I will decide to introduce a bit of the flower, one of the flowers somewhere here. So maybe I'll scale this one down, then position it at the bottom or somewhere here. So I'm just playing around with it, doing my own fun arrangements. Okay, learn to have fun with it. Then map it to the control, bring the control on top. Okay, and let me duplicate this one, then bring one here. I think one here is okay. So let me see. We have something like this. This one shouldn't come, it should come in last. So let me see. Let me map the name to the control tool. So let's see. All right. Let me see. Let me position this to bits here. Basically, this is it. All right. So once you are done with this, you're already set. So let me come to control, hit P for the position. So it will come in like this, then stay there a bit. Then from here, let me set another ending key, then move the timeline to something like 8 seconds, then off it goes. You see that? So you have something like this. I think it stayed there too long, so let me close it in. You see, simple. Simple. All right. Now all that you have to do is come to phase 1 here. Okay, let me create a folder, then arrange the things in. So faces, let me name this the folder faces. Then create another one for pictures. 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 So let me place the pictures in. Okay. So faces, let me place faces in. Pictures, and move it in. Then let me create another one as comms. Comms. All right. Now let me move these comms in here. Comms. Okay. Now let me open the faces folder. There's one last thing to be done. All right. Now on the picture, right click inside your comb, then select new adjustment layer. Make sure the adjustment layer is on top of the image at the bottom. Okay. Now come to effects and type transform. Transform. Okay. Then apply it to the adjustment. What we are going to do is we are going to create a magnify effect on the image. Initially, we could have used magnify effects, but I prefer to use the transform. Okay, so let's scale it to something like, then this is okay. Shouldn't be too much. This is okay. So let me just use the masking, rectangular masking tool to draw on the adjustments layer. Okay, so this will do. Okay. Then select the bottom keys, hold the shift key, then move this side in. Select this one. Okay. So you have something like this. See that? Okay. So now we are going to use the masking to animate. Or we can just use the position instead of the masking. Let me just use the position to animate. Okay. Okay, so let me see this my ending. All right. So let me link let me make the adjustment layer 3D, then link parent it to the control. Okay. So from here, let me move the transform backwards. Then set a key position key there. Then move the timeline to a bit forward, a bit for backwards, then move the adjustment layer forward. So this is okay. So let me open it up. Let me bring this one in here. So you have something like this. See that it's moving on. See that? See? Simple. Okay. You can decide to add more flowers to it if you want. You can decide to bring some under here. It's your own style. Okay. So now let me go to the browser. Now this is phase 1. So let me duplicate something like 3 times. Okay. Let me open phase 2, then phase 3. Now phase 2. What you are going to do is, because my images are of the same sizes, I will just have to hold the Alt key, then click and drag to replace it. But if your image is of not the same sizes, make sure that you create a comp for pictures so that they will have the same sizes. All right. Okay, so click on the image, then come to pictures. Let me see this one. Hold the Alt key, then click and drag to replace it. You see that? Simple. Phase 3, click on the image, then come to the browser, then hold the Alt key, click and drag to replace it. You see, they are all of the same sizes. Okay, so maybe the phase 2, I'll change instead of Mary and Eric and Mary, I'll type something like, let me type something like date. 6th, okay, 6th June. Or you can decide to break them down. All right, so let me see. Let me just break them down. (2024). Okay. Then come to the paragraph, then center it. Now let me move it to the middle here. Okay. Now the flower, let me bring it down. Okay. So the next one, I'll type the location, which is let me type something like fire, temple, then center it to. Okay. All right. So when you come to your main, this is the main. Let me bring it forward here. When you come to your main, phase 1, let me bring the phase 1, 2, then 3. So this is where you do your final arrangement. Okay. Let me, it's too long. So let me make it something like, okay, 20 is okay. 20 seconds is okay. So the phase 1, let me select phase 1 and phase 2 and 3 backwards. So phase 1, it comes, then go. Then let me see, phase 2, whilst it's going, phase 2 is also coming. So let me see, from here to here, phase 2 should start. See, whilst phase 2 is also going, phase 3 should be coming. So let me see, phase 1, phase 2, see that? Then phase 3 will follow. Simple. You see that? You see it wasn't difficult. Now from here, you can just create any background. Any background will do. So just right click in new, solid layer. Okay. Then white. Then you come to effects and type a gradients ramp. Okay. So you type ramp. Then maybe you swap the colors so that the darker part comes to the bottom. Then the lighter part goes up. So you have something like this. It's a simple. See that? Or you can, instead of it being black, you can decide to choose a color pertaining to this, pertaining to the flower. Okay. Let me just maintain it to give it a gray color rather. So this is okay. This is okay. So you have something like this. See that? See how simple it was. All right. So guys, basically this is how I set up the template. Okay. It isn't difficult. All right. And please kindly like, subscribe, and comment. And if you have interest in any of the templates, just request it on YouTube here, and it will be posted onto the Telegram channel for you to download. All right. Okay, from here you can decide to spice it up a bit. So what I'm going to do here is this. I'm going to create a particle effect on the face one. Okay, so on control, let me right click in new, then solid. Okay, from here come to effects, then trap code, select particular. Okay, then come to particle, inside particular, particle life, let me make it 5. Then size, particle size, let me go 20. Then the feathering, let me go 0. Okay, now when you come here, it says here opacity over life. So let me make it opacity random 0. Okay, 100 rather, let me go 100 rather. Then let me see, come to emitter, then velocity, let me increase the velocity. Too much. Let me leave it here for now. Then come to particle size, let me increase the size a bit more. Then it's, let me see, size, okay, size random, let me go 100. Okay, now come to world transform. So under world transform, what we are going to do is we are going to move it to the other side. Okay, so on X, let's move it to the last end there. Let's position it here. So this is okay. Okay, let's see, let's play it and see. So this is okay. But once you are done with the particle animation like the way it is, maybe let me pull the particle in a bit so that the beginning won't be like how it now is now starting. So let me drag the timeline in so that it won't be like it's now starting. No. Okay. So maybe it's from here is okay. So hit E. Now let me name the layer to particle. Okay, then you enter. So now let's under particular inside the layer, come to the world transform. So let's see, something like maybe 3 seconds. It will come in 3 seconds. Okay, so on X offset in world transform, you set an ending key there, then you bring the timeline forward. Okay, then you move the particle away. Okay, so this is okay. So let's see what we have. See that? Okay. Okay. So from here, let's see. Let's set an ending key there, then disappearing. Let's go out. See that? All right. So if the particle is too much, you can reduce it. Okay. Maybe it says here particle per second is 100. So let's go something like 50. See that? It has reduced. So let's see. Okay. So from here, just position it under the flowers. So bring it under the flowers here. So this would do. Okay, I still think it's too much, so let me go something like 30. Okay, so from here just copy the layer. Let's copy it, then come to phase 2. Okay, then paste it here. Phase 3, come to phase 3 too, then paste it there too. Okay, so when you come to the main, you have this. See that? Simple. All right, guys. So this comes to the end of our wedding templates tutorial. Okay. So if any of you have interest in the templates, please kindly request it on YouTube here, and it will be posted onto the Telegram channel for you to download. That's the original templates that I created. Okay. And please kindly like, subscribe, and comment. All right. See you next time.